Hi, this is the very first episode of Nick's Nerd Network, and I'm Nick. Now, I want to talk to you about one of my favorite shows on the air right now. It's called Steven Universe. Steven Universe is a show that airs on Cartoon Network, and yes, it is. It's meant for kids, but I really love and appreciate the show a lot, and I think that there's a lot that people of all ages could get from the show. Now, the show itself is about a boy named Steven. He's the main character. He is raised by three guardians and his dad. His dad is human, and his guardians are part of an alien race called the Gems. Now, this group of aliens that are raising him are referred to as the Crystal Gems. They're a special group. They're the only ones that we're aware of that are on Earth, and they're here taking care of Steven in the absence of his mother. Steven's mom died giving her life to Steven so that he could be born and survive. He is half human and half gem. So Steven is really coming to terms with a lot. He's learning about himself, he's learning how to be a leader like his mom was, and he's really just learning how to be himself and be comfortable with himself. And what's really great about this show is the main character, Steven, he's not the only character that's going through the main source of development. A lot of the times, Steven isn't really developing at all as a character, but helping the people around him develop as characters. And I think that's really cool. You're not just seeing it from that person's perspective, how they've changed. You're seeing how this main character is changing the lives of so many different people. The art and the animation is really great. Like, just looking at the pictures and the imagery created by the creators of Steven Universe, it's bright pastel colors. It just really all looks good. It's not loud and bright and in your face, and it's a really soothing kind of animation. The characters themselves are super well developed. They are masterfully designed, and they really capture a little bit of every type of style, every type of ethnicity. There's just little aspects that really kind of, I don't know, it just seems kind of like an all-inclusive group of people and traits in their character designs. So it's also great socially for kids because it's introducing them into some very adult topics in a very roundabout way. Even though these topics aren't the main focus of the show, they present these topics in a way that makes them understandable for kids and makes it seem socially acceptable for kids. So one of which is that the characters, the aliens, the Crystal Gems, they are a race of all females. So being a race of all females, some of them tend to partner up and fall in love or enter into partnerships with one another, just like LGBT couples. And they don't really address this out loud. I mean, they show the couples kiss, interact, and be happy and loving to one another, but they don't actually address, like, oh my, this is a gay relationship. This is unheard of. They don't face those kinds of issues. It's just part of their everyday life. It's considered to be a normal part of their everyday life, and nobody really questions it. And that's what's so great about the show. It's showing a place where these people are socially accepted and they don't have to worry about those people discriminating against them. They're facing other problems. Sometimes their problems that they're facing are intergalactic levels where there are aliens coming to attack them or war and things like that. But other times the problems are as simple as helping out some of the human characters in the city learn more about themselves, or day-to-day problems like helping to sell french fries or helping someone who's feeling down or really stressed out. It really just goes all over the place in terms of what size problems. And it really helps the main character develop. He's not just this one hero who's trying to focus on saving the world every day. He has to focus on saving the worlds of every individual in Beach City, sometimes on a much smaller scale. And I just really love that about the show. It's really, really balanced. Another great thing about the show is, I don't know if you've ever heard of the term spiral education, but it's a way we teach our kids in which, like for instance, math, you're not going to learn everything about geometry in one year. You're going to learn about geometry, then maybe move on to some algebra, then move on to some calculus and things like that, statistics, and then you circle back each year and learn a little bit more about each topic. Steven Universe is set up that way, and that's what I love about it. You might not get all the answers you want from a story arc or from what's happening in that episode or from that mystery all in a row or even in the same season, but they leave little hints, they touch on different topics that they might come back to 10, 20, or even 2 or 3 seasons from now. And it just really makes it all that much more rewarding when a theory that you had or an idea that you had, it really gave you time to think about it and develop it, and then they answer that question for you later on, or you get close to an answer and they kind of dangle it in front of you, but they hold out and they leave you on a cliffhanger. And I really love that aspect of the show. And I think another thing that I like about the show is just watching it really just makes me feel good. I like watching it. The characters are just so down to earth and relatable. I think that anyone watching this show could find at least one or two characters that they can relate to, either as a whole or just in individual instances or different experiences that they had that you might have had. So I really think overall it's a great relatable show. It's educational and it provides that world of fantasy for kids to escape to and watch and learn at the same time. So I wanted to share some of my favorite characters from the show with you, just to get an idea of how I relate to them and something you hear might make them sound relatable to you. One of the first characters I want to discuss is my all-time favorite character, and that's Pearl. Pearl is one of Steven's guardians. She's probably the most mother-like figure that he has in his life. And what I find relatable about Pearl, at least to myself, is she really holds herself to a high standard. She sets such high expectations for herself, and she wants to be perfect all the time. And that's something that I try to strive for. I always want to be seen as someone who's being successful, someone who is trying their best, trying their hardest, someone that people can look up to. And that's a complex that Pearl has. Pearl wants Steven to look up to her. Pearl wants everyone to think that she's just at the top of her game all the time, and she's terrified of letting people down. Another thing that I find relatable about Pearl is she has a lot of baggage, a lot of deep down issues that she has trouble processing that she can't even talk about, and she avoids these problems, but at the same time, all sorts of little problems aggravate her to no end, and she will whine and complain and cry about such little things and get so make mountains out of molehills, but the actual mountains that she has to deal with, she can't bring herself to discuss or talk to or share those feelings with anyone. And I think a lot of us can find that relatable. It's easy for us to vent about small little things happening in our lives, but sometimes it's really hard to talk about those bigger and more scary issues. So I find her character incredibly relatable. So another character on the show that I really love is Lars. Lars is a human character. He's not a crystal gem. He's one of the townspeople. And what I really love about his character is he's just that. He's only human. So when Steven is having interactions with him and the other townspeople, it's kind of one of those things that brings Steven back to reality. And by that I mean his day-to-day problems and seeing that, like, yes, there's aliens attacking and there's monsters to fight and there's crazy things going on, but he can always rely on the citizens of Beach City to give him a sense of like balance and normalcy. And I really love that about his character. The other great thing about Lars is he's really kind of the opposite of Steven. Steven's one of those really upbeat, positive, optimistic characters, would do anything for anyone and doesn't care what other people think. He just wants to live his life and be happy. He will skip around town. He will sing at the top of his lungs. He'll wear a dress if he wants to. If he just wants to goof off and hang out, he's living a happy life. Lars is one of those people that I think we can all relate to, or at least have related to in some point of our lives, where he's obsessed with what other people think, what other people see him as, and a lot of people don't like his character because he seems so fake. He seems like a poser, and he's really rude to Steven because he doesn't understand how Steven can act the way he does and not be embarrassed and not be upset. And we see Lars develop as the show goes on. I really love this about Lars and showing the opposite is because him and Steven, they really balance each other out. So in conclusion, I just wanted to share Steven Universe with you. If you are interested in the show, please give it a try. If you're already watching the show, then stay tuned for more content because I plan on doing some reviews of different episodes, and also eventually when I catch up to episodes that are relevant and coming out right now, I'd like to develop some more theories about the show and go over some Steven Universe theories. So if you're interested in more content from me, please like, subscribe. It really helps me out, and I'll be uploading some more videos shortly. So this is Nick signing off. Have a great rest of the day.